An uncontested divorce is the best kind of divorce if you're able to get it. But people don't always know what it is. We often have people come to us and say, I need an uncontested divorce. And we're like, great, where's your written agreement? What? Well, where's your agreement? Where's the thing that you and your spouse agreed to everything? Oh, we agree, don't worry about it. Okay. Sure enough, they'll come in, they'll tell us what they think the agreement is, we'll write it up, we'll send it to their side. That's not my agreement, I never agreed to that. This is why you got to be really careful using the word uncontested divorce. An uncontested divorce is where everything is agreed upon, is written down, and is signed by both parties. Then it is submitted to the court as an uncontested divorce. If you think you and your spouse are going to agree on everything, that's awesome. But it's still contested until the day you sit down, write your agreement, and sign it. Until then, it's still negotiating. Hopefully, a really short negotiation if an uncontested divorce is what you want. There are two main benefits to an uncontested divorce. First is speed. Now, I want to be clear about what an uncontested divorce is. An uncontested divorce is where you and your spouse agree on everything, whether it's child custody, retirement, spousal support, child support, any asset division whatsoever. It is already agreed upon, written down, and signed by both parties. Then you can go ahead and get an uncontested divorce. And one of the benefits is it's super fast. As soon as you have that separation agreement signed, you just submit it to the court with the appropriate filings, and usually within a few weeks, we can get you divorced. Now, another benefit is it does save a lot of money. If you and your spouse already agree on everything, and again, we write it down and it's signed, ready to go, you don't have to go through a lot of the other things that traditional types of divorce have to go through, such as discovery, exchanging all kinds of documents, such as litigation expenses or court hearings. It can save a lot of money. But to get an uncontested divorce, you have to be sure of what you're signing. You have to be comfortable that you know enough about each other's assets, and you have to be ready to waive your right to discovery. So, yes, there are absolutely benefits, but make sure before you sign anything, you talk to an attorney. There are many challenges in a contested divorce, especially one that goes to trial. The biggest thing that I tell people about going to trial is you never know who's going to win. Everything about the outcome of your case depends on what judge you get, what they had for breakfast that day, if their significant other ticked them off, or if they, hit a deer on the way in. You just don't know what kind of mood they're going to be in. The other thing is the rules of evidence. You may have the best piece of evidence ever to put into court, but if you're not able to properly authenticate it, it's not coming in. So often a trial is what evidence do you have that also meets the rules of evidence that can come in and be heard by the court and that the court finds important? It's a crapshoot. I mean, the reality is it's a crapshoot. And even if you have the better case, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to win. So many times I've predicted the outcomes of court cases and I was plain wrong. Most of the time I'm right, but sometimes I'm plain wrong because you just can't control that X factor. The only way to really control the outcome of your divorce is to reach a settlement. And you might reach a settlement early, or you might reach a settlement later in the process. A lot of people reach a settlement right at the courthouse doors. But the best way to have control of that outcome, where you aren't just tossing to a third party going, decide my life for me, is for you and your spouse to sit down and make a good decision together, or at least make one that you can live with and that's durable. If you are in a contested divorce, one of the best strategies that I can give you is to produce all documents requested as quickly and thoroughly as possible. So much attorney's fees are spent in discovery disputes. And of course, don't turn over something that you're not required by law to turn over. But the vast majority of things that are asked for, at least in my experience in family law, are appropriate, reasonable, and expected. You're going to have to turn over things like your bank statements, your retirement accounts, your credit card statements, the deeds to your house, your social security card, your driver's license, your driving records, sometimes your medical records if your health is at issue in any way, shape, or form, your kids' health records, your kids' education records, and so much more. It is a lot of information. It is overwhelming and it is stressful. But let me tell you what, if you sit down and you get it done at the beginning and you regularly supplement it, your cost of divorce will go down so much because at that point, you're not having to engage in things like subpoenas. You're not having to engage in things like discovery wars and fights, motions to compel, deficiency letters, and all those things really add up. And why is all of it really important anyway? Because your legal team and your attorney specifically cannot advise you properly about what deal you should agree to or what position you should take in court without all of the information necessary. It's called due diligence, and we take it seriously. So, biggest piece of advice I can give you: be upfront with your discovery, get it done, be thorough, and don't mess around with it. Also, the earlier you get your discovery exchanged, the more likely you will be to settle earlier in the case. Because once all the cards are in the table, it's then a negotiating game. Whether you're facing a contested divorce or an uncontested divorce, we're here to help. We're Z Family Law, and we don't write endings, we create new beginnings. And we're here to help you create your new beginning.